The counter is full of food. I'm checking things off my list. I got bags of food on the table, duffel bags by the front door. That can mean only one thing. It's time for another road trip and trip to the cabin. Today's video is gonna be just a little bit different because I already showed you the exact process of packing and going to the cabin. I thought it would be kind of boring to show you that again. So if you missed that, you can go watch that series of videos. They're great, you'll love them. I decided for this trip that I'm gonna be doing a Q&A. I put out a request for questions. I'm going to be taking those questions, and as we drive and spend a week at the cabin, I'm going to be answering them for you. So I'm gonna finish packing, I'm gonna take a shower, we're gonna get on the road, and we'll start answering some questions. All right, I'm all showered. It feels kind of necessary to take a shower as late as possible before a camping trip. I like to wait till the last second so I can feel clean longer. Mark made the most beautiful red salmon last night. He brought it home fresh from the river. I took the leftovers and now I'm putting some lettuce, my favorite pickled onions, some pickled cucumbers, feta, pumpkin seeds. I'm gonna make a good lunch so that I'm not hungry on the road. I just like to make a simple dressing with a little bit of mayonnaise and the juice from these and some lime. And it's just a little bit, adds all the flavor you need. I have the sweetest boy over here. Everett has been using the water filter. And what have you done?
Filling up these for your ride.
Thank you so much. Oh, you know how to stop it?
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad you know that.
For
All right, got my salad here. Bon appetit. All right, my goal was to get out of here by noon. It is 12:02, so we are right on track. But my first question that I want to answer is, how is my health journey going? And before I answer that, I'm going to show you my snacks for the trip. So I have these Parm crisps. We'll see if I even like them. Pistachios, an apple. I do get really tired while I'm driving sometimes, so I like to have things to crunch on. Some moose jerky here and some of these mozzarella. We bought cherries. And then this is my favorite hummus to eat with carrots. I also have a cold Diet Coke with lime. Bennett has his own snacks. Do you want to show us your snacks, Bennett? He got them out of the mom store. He is all set too.
And they're secret. I got lots of things.
All right, we got our audiobooks this time to choose from. We have Jackie Haha, which is by James Patterson and Chris Grabenstein. They are some of our favorite authors together for teen books. Boys on the Boat, I've heard amazing things about that. Those are our choices. I'm gonna let Bennett be in charge of that. And we'll get on the road and we will answer some questions. We have the most beautiful day for a drive I think we've had in a long time. And the smoke seems to have cleared out, so it's gonna be awesome. I have to show you the fireweed. Do you see those purple flowers? Those were not blooming last trip, and they have bloomed really, really early this year. They're usually a good indicator of when summer's gonna be over. It's been so hot, they came out early. So I'm happy to see them, but I'm also not happy to see them, but they are beautiful. And I'm sure we'll see more along the road. All right, we made it through Anchorage. Potter's Marsh. Currently 4th of July weekend when we're driving, and we are leaving on Friday. Lots of cars on the road, lots of motorhomes. It's gonna be a busy drive, so I think we gave ourselves enough time. But let's finish answering the first question, which is, how is my health journey going? Thank you so much for asking, and it's going great. It's a little bit more tricky during the summer. If I don't plan ahead, I don't have the food choices that I want all the time, but I've currently lost 13 pounds. If you're not familiar with what I'm doing for my health journey, I am following what is called the 2B mindset. The 4 major components of it is water first, veggies most, track what you eat, and weigh yourself, and that has really helped me. I have not been exercising nearly as much as I want to at the gym, but we have been doing lots of activities where we're out and about. So the health journey is going great. I do have a whole video explaining exactly what I'm doing if you want to go check that out. For more information, I am 1 pound away from my next goal, because my goal is always 2 pounds at a time. And so things are going great. All right, we are passing Girdwood. Super, super, super busy, so we are not going to stop today. Lots of cars. Yeah, let's open. All right, we have just finished going around the Turnagain Arm. We are now headed up into Turnagain Pass, which is in the mountains. All right, the next question was if we are going to have any more children, and the answer is, for right now, we feel very content with where we're at. We're grateful for these 4 boys. That door is not closed. If we feel like we want to have more kids, we will. That's something that we will decide when the time comes. But for right now, we are just loving on these 4 boys. The snow is finally melted. Took until July. Potty break. I love Turnagain Pass. I used to camp here a lot with my dad, and I just love it. It's so gorgeous. Isn't it gorgeous? All right, Bennett's picking out another question for us. All right, Bennett picked the next question, and it was if the boys go to private or public school, and how are the schools in Alaska? I think the schools in Alaska are good. The boys go to public school, but they go to a school that's called an ABC school, or a back to basic school. They teach phonograms, which there are 70 phonograms they have to learn in kindergarten, which is the sounds that letters make, not just learning ABC. You have to learn the sounds that each of the letters make, like a, ah, b, k, s. Anyway, so there's 70 of them that they have to learn in kindergarten. They have a really good math program. So it is a very strict school, which has not been the best for some of my children. Sometimes little boys have a hard time sitting still, some of my children more than others, and then others have done great. So they go to public school, but it happens to be a school that is a different curriculum than the regular school district. But I would say overall, the schools up here are good. I'm a big believer in sending good kids into school. I'm a former elementary school teacher, and I hope that my kids can be the ones that go in there and can be a light in the classroom. They've been taught good values. We work really hard with our kids at home to teach them to be good Christians, and so I want my kids to be the ones in the schools to be a light. Homeschooling is great if that works for your family, but it didn't work the best for our family. So they will all be going to school, including Everett in the fall. He will be in kindergarten. Oh my gosh. People are driving crazy today, you guys. All right, we are 2 hours into our drive. It says 150 miles left to Homer. Let's do one more question. The next question asks, what kind of jam do I like to make or eat in the summer? I think it was make. The truth is, we make jam in the fall. I make so much raspberry freezer jam when our raspberry patch is in bloom that we don't need any other jam throughout the year. Strawberries never get cheap enough to make strawberry jam, and I think I've made blueberry in the past, which reminds me, it's on my list of things to do when I get back from the cabin, to turn all of last fall's blueberries into blueberry syrup before we pick blueberries again. I don't make any jam during the summer because I make a whole year's worth in the fall. So they asked, besides Hawaii and Alaska, where we would like to vacation. I'm kind of boring right now at this stage of my life. I love to go to Arizona and visit my parents. I like to go to Hawaii, and we don't like to leave Alaska during the summer, obviously. I would love to go to like the Caribbean. I would love to go to Spain. I've never been there. Mark served a mission there for 2 years, lived there, and I would love to go back with him to Spain and travel Europe one day. But at this stage in life, and with how expensive everything is right now, I just like to kind of stay closer to home. One day I think I would love to travel a lot with Mark. Right now that just doesn't really feel like the season in life to do it. It's really hard with all the kids in school and having short breaks, and then wanting to stay in Alaska during the summer. So there's my answer. Okay, we made it to Cooper Landing, home of the Russian River, the Kenai River. Just stopped for a bathroom break. And the stretch, I think we're about halfway. I think Cooper Landing is about halfway. I'll have to check that, but I think it feels like halfway. So, whew. It's 3 o'clock. The boat leaves at 6:30, so I think we'll be all right. Gotta keep moving though. All right, Bennett's having red vines this time. Last time it was Twizzlers. I got a big tub of red vines for this trip. Just smells like red vines in the car. The next question was, how or why did we start a YouTube channel? And if you are on my email list, I started an email list, you guys. If you haven't gotten on it, the link is down in the description below. You get the behind the scenes. I do giveaways over there, special giveaways just for people on the email list. So go join the email list. The reason why I'm talking about the email list is I wrote out this story recently of why I started the YouTube channel, but I'm happy to tell you here. So in 2019, I went to a conference in Toronto, a business conference. At that time, I had this small organizing, decorating business that I was trying to grow. So I went to a conference and I roomed with a lady that on paper, like our lives checked a lot of the same boxes. She was a boy mom, she was running a small business, and we got along really well. So I was learning about her life, and then she asked me about life in Alaska. And as I was telling her things like, we hunt for our food, we fly in our airplane, we camp all summer, her jaw like was on the floor after that. And so as I was flying home from Toronto, having my Diet Coke and mini pretzels on the airplane, my brain was kind of like, wait, people were more interested in talking to me about my life in Alaska than they were about my decorating ideas. And not to say that my decorating ideas are bad, but it just was a light bulb moment for me that we live a very different life than other people. And so that was in the back of my mind when the pandemic hit. My YouTube channel at that point was called the Hamm Homestead, and it had organizing and decorating videos on it. But when my kids came home from school because of COVID and didn't go back to school for the rest of the year, my life very quickly turned into mom mode. And all organizing, decorating, going into other people's homes came to a complete stop, like it did for many people when COVID hit. That summer when we were planning our first trip to the cabin, I decided I was going to start a new YouTube channel called This Alaska Life and share our life in Alaska. That trip to Toronto was a turning point for me that made me take a step back and realize how unique our life is, and that maybe I had something to share up here in Alaska. But what I never expected was that people would have such an interest in our lives, that they would start to feel like family and friends, and we'd create this amazing community. I just never ever realized that that's what happens when you create a YouTube channel and you have the awesome viewers like you guys. So I started this channel to show the world what it's like to be a mom and a wife in Alaska and be part of a hunting, fishing, flying family and have a life just constantly full of adventure. This is the Kenai River. People are going down for a trip, float trip. So I really hope that you feel like part of a community, part of the family when you are going on these adventures with us. We are so grateful for each and every one of you. I just hope that you feel inspired to live your best life when you come and watch our channel and try new things and have a positive outlook on things. That is my hope with this channel. I also hope that you enjoy seeing a glimpse of the beautiful scenery and the amazing things that Alaska has to offer. I have dreams that YouTube will be the means for us to continue to live a life full of adventures here in Alaska. So that is why I started a YouTube channel, and that is also a little glimpse into why I keep putting videos out for all of you. We decided to make a stop at the same spot we stopped last time to show you the lupine, the beautiful blue lupine, because now it is a sea of fireweed, and there was no fireweed when we came before. It's kind of windy, but it sure is pretty. Feels good.
Smells good.
Beautiful. Bennett walking through the fireweed. If you didn't see our previous video, this area burned, I think, in like either 2019 or 2020. They had a big forest fire here, so these trees are dead, but fireweed grows up after fires. So, right, Bennett, we got to keep going. Oh, see here, there's a tiny bit of lupine left, but the fireweed have taken over. All right, the next question is, do we have a monthly grocery budget? And the answer is no. Despite Mark being an accountant, we have never done very well at having an actual budget, but I am pretty good at just making sure that we are not splurging too often. I really make sure that we are just buying what we're using and get through it so that we're not wasting food, and it has just always worked out. So no, we don't have a budget, but we live below our means. We put a lot of money into retirement, and I've always had some sort of side hustle, whether it's this YouTube channel, my decorating business, so that I could be earning a little bit of money on the side for splurges that I want. That's just always made me feel better about wanting to buy something nice to decorate the house or do a project if I can contribute. So no, we don't have a budget, but we do live below our means. We pay off all our credit cards every single month. Our only debt that we have as a family is our home. All of our cars are paid for, and we buy most things with cash. Yep. Our airplane is paid for. So other than our home, we are debt-free. The second part of Natalie's question for this was, what do we use our Costco dividend on, or rebate check? Do we splurge, or do we use it to buy groceries? And I've done both. Some years I feel like I should just use it on our regular groceries. Other times I hold on to it until there's something like a vacuum that I want to buy or something more expensive, and then I use it for that. So I've done both. I've used it very practically, and other times I have used it on something fun. So we did get the Costco credit card, which gives you a lot more money back. So I'm excited to see how much it is next year, because I actually use that credit card a lot instead of just at Costco. So we'll see how much money we get back. What? No, it's a Visa. You can use it anywhere, and you get a percentage back on gas, food, dining out, and so I switch back and forth. If you live in Alaska, we love our Alaska Airlines credit card. Gives us airline miles almost all the time. If we are traveling, we are going on Alaska Airlines. Oh, this boat wants to tow us. It has a big rope flying off the end. So between the Costco credit card, the Alaska Airlines credit card, and then Mark has a Cabela's credit card to earn points towards.
That's like all he uses.
Yeah, he does use his Cabela's quite a bit. So he earns points to buy outdoor equipment. All three make sense. Costco, Cabela's, and Alaska Airlines. That's pretty much our life right there. We have the Alaska Airlines credit card because you also get a companion fare each year where you can fly for like an extra $150. You can buy an extra ticket to go along with someone. And so when Mark has trips to Hawaii for work, I use a companion ticket and can go for $150. So that's worth it, because his company pays for his ticket, and then I can use my companion ticket. So that's what I like to save it up for. We actually have a trip coming up in about a month using our other companion ticket, because we have 2 credit cards. This is a lot of talk about credit cards, but anyways, that just reminded me, we are going on a trip to Ketchikan here in Alaska, and I'm super excited.
Am I coming?
Nope, just Mom and Dad. Dad has a conference there. The next question is, how did me and Mark meet? We were both home from college during the summer. We met at church. I was talking with his friend Paul about how I like to go fishing with my dad. And then Paul told Mark, hey, this girl likes to go fishing. So he asked me out. And we went fishing on our first date. We went fishing a lot of other times. We went and did a lot of stuff with my dad. We continued to date when we went down to college. Then he proposed to me that New Year's, and then we got married the next April. Mark was born and raised here, so I was really glad to have somebody that loved Alaska and appreciated Alaska. I don't think I realized the extent that he loved Alaska. He is a true Alaska man through and through, but I have learned to embrace the lifestyle that we have, because this is not how I grew up. So, but I have learned to embrace it and enjoy it. Oh yeah, that's a lot of bikes. Even things that I thought I would never enjoy, like butchering an animal. It's just something we do as a family now, and yeah, it's good. Bennett wants some Subway, so we're gonna find a Subway here in Soldotna, and then we're gonna keep driving. It is currently 4 o'clock. Okay. Subway. Bennett's sandwich of choice is a spicy Italian with all the veggies.
Very good.
Let's get it.
Very good. I don't really want.
All right, we just got a text that Mark is landing in 5 minutes. We have 2 hours till the boat leaves, and then a 45-minute boat ride. So they will be there ahead of us as normal. Bennett, can you find us another question? We got a question if moose are aggressive. And the answer to that is they can be. Mom moose with babies, just like mom bears with babies, are really aggressive, or can be. If a moose has been, if something has happened that has aggravated a moose, it can be. You know, usually you can just go right by them and they don't bother you at all. But they can be aggressive, and there's a couple ways to know if they're aggressive. They'll put their ears back, they will grunt, and then if that happens, you kind of want to run behind a tree or make it a little bit difficult for them to follow. With bears, you don't run. You never run from a bear. It's a big no-no. You try and get as big as you can and talk to the bear and back up slowly. Do we ever plan to move out of Alaska into the lower 48? We have no plans of leaving Alaska.
I do. Go to college.
Our children will leave Alaska, hopefully, and go to college and maybe serve missions or somewhere around the world, but...
Oh my guys. There's a person standing on a kayak.
Like a bicycle kayak or something. Nope, there's no plans of leaving here. Mark has a great job with a native corporation. Never say never, but I can't see us having any reason that we would want to move. We're hoping that at least a few of our children will want to live here, but either way, we'll be here. A lot of people, when they get older, don't like to be here during the winters. There's a couple different ways that you can address that. Mark's parents take 1 or 2 month-long trips during the winter. They usually will do one like to somewhere around the world and one down in the lower 48. Other people will snowbird, like my parents. They will go and live somewhere else for the winter when they get older. So I could see us definitely doing that, but I don't see us ever moving from here. All right, somebody asked, what is the difference between a caribou and a moose? Is that what it said? Oh.
And do they live in your area?
So caribou run in really, really big herds. They are a domesticated caribou is called a reindeer. There are no caribou in our area. They tend to live up higher in the mountains and on the tundra. They move constantly and have to be able to eat as they go. Moose are much, much, much bigger than caribou, and I think they're both part of the deer family, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, they are.
With moose, only the males have horns. Is it horns or antlers? How do you tell the difference? I can't remember. Antlers fall off, horns stay on. So the moose have antlers.
I didn't know that.
Caribou have antlers, but the girls and the boys have antlers. Moose don't go in herds. They will kind of group up during mating season. Very different animals, but have some similarities. Now, if you're talking about eating, I would any day take a moose over a caribou.
I can't taste the difference.
Oh, caribous can be gamey. You have to be careful. If you get a big bull and they're in the rut, that is some of the worst meat I've ever had in my entire life, is yucky caribou. So, moose do live in our area. We have them in our yard all the time. Moms have babies in the spring, and then the babies stay with them until right before they give birth again, and then they shoo them away, and then they have their new babies.
How do they shoo them away?
They just like, I don't know, it's just instinctual. They like make them go away, and they won't let them stay with them anymore. And then you see these like almost 2-year-old moose. You can tell they're still pretty small. They kind of just look sad and lonely, like they're wandering around and they're missing something. I've seen it several times. I'm like, oh, that's definitely a 2-year-old that has lost, but its mom just kicked it out. So they got to give all their attention to the new babies. I'm going to tell you 2 quick moose stories. First one, Mark's dad was in his backyard and there was a moose, and he was kind of trying to shoo it off from their raspberry patch, and he bent over to pick something up, and the moose took it as being aggressive, and it came and bonked heads with him and knocked Mark's dad over. So that's kind of freaky. So that answers your question. They can feel threatened. And 2, when Mark and I had Hunter and Bennett, they were both really little. We still lived in Anchorage, so Bennett wouldn't have even been, we moved out of Anchorage.
Wouldn't even been 1.
Yeah, we moved out of Anchorage right when Bennett turned 1. We were out doing a little family walk around this pond, and he sees 3 moose on the other side of the pond. One thing he does when he goes moose hunting in the fall is he knows how to make a moose call for a boy moose and a girl moose. And so he decides he's gonna make this call. And this was a female, I think it was, I can't remember if they were males or females, but I think there was a combination of both of them. But they'll like come together and fight to win over the females. And so he does a moose call because they're across this lake. And all of a sudden, all 3 moose get in the lake and start swimming across, and we start walking away, but they are coming. And then they get on land and they start running up the hill looking for where this other moose is. Hunter was terrified because he would have been like 2.5.
3.
Oh my gosh, it was terrible. And we're just like running away. So anyways, kind of funny, but not funny in the moment. And I'm like, Mark, you're not allowed to do moose calls unless you're ready to shoot it, or we are like up on our deck and we can be safe, because that was terrifying.
And then we had another one a couple days ago when a moose almost broke our window.
Oh, we did. We had a mom and baby moose in our yard, and Hunter was in the window.
Oh, we almost.
And that moose was giving him a stare down, but it didn't have its ears back and stuff. He was just really curious about what you guys were doing in your room.
If you did any sudden movement, she went.
It was really cute though, because the kids had been out on the trampoline. It was getting really late, and we're like, everybody inside. We've been asking you to get inside. Please get inside. And we got everybody in. And then Mark and I were in Everett's room with him to get his pajamas on, and he's like, good thing we all came inside. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I go over and look out the window, and he's like, and there was the mom and baby moose right where the kids had been playing. So good thing we came inside.
Time to listen to that.
All right, we need a new battery, and we're gonna listen to the audiobook. What a beautiful drive. All right, we have just reached Anchor Point, which is 20 miles from Homer. Anchor Point is a very small town. I have not ever explored anything really in Anchor Point other than this main road that you drive through. All right, the next question is, when do the kids get out of school and when do they go back into school? Our kids get out around May 20th and then they go back around August 20th. So they almost get 3 months of summer. Is that, yeah. But it's also exhausting because we do a lot of stuff in that time.
School's more boring and exhausting.
All right, it says visit us again soon. Goodbye, Anchor Point. That was less than 2 minutes driving through Anchor Point, and then it's over. My GoPro right here says 2 minutes, 3 seconds. Okay, give me another question.
Love watching your channel and family adventures. One question I have been wondering about is how the plane fuel and inflation of it works. I know globally, including here in Australia, fuel is super expensive, but with it ends.
All right, so the question is, how does it work with the airplane with the inflation and the gas prices? It's gotten more expensive to fly for sure. Oh, there's a sign, Homer, 14 miles, and it is 5:30. So we have an hour. We are doing good this time. We are not gonna be rushing to get to the boat. And we already have our tickets, so we can just go get on. I don't have to buy tickets this time.
When did you do that?
I bought them last night. I don't think
I saw it.
So some airplanes run off what is called avgas, and that has increased to $7, $8, $9 a gallon, depending on where you land and fuel up. We're pretty lucky Mark's plane can run off of the same gas that is in cars. So it's still in the $5 range, which is expensive, but more doable. And it's just part of our lifestyle, so we make sure that we're cutting back on other things so we can continue to fly.
What are we cutting back on?
We are very careful with our money, Bennett. We do not just go buy everything that we want. We save up for things. We put things off until we have money to buy them. We don't just go buy everything that we want every time. You know, we drive this car instead of like the other van because it costs less to drive this car to Homer. It gets better gas mileage. Just little things add up over time if you just are more conscious about buying, if you don't buy everything that you want. So this is a good lesson for Bennett. The fact that we do not eat out very often, we eat out very, very rarely. And so that saves us money by eating at home, cooking at home. Try and live within our means so that we can do things like have an airplane.
All right, so this airplane here is a Cessna 170B. It was manufactured in 1952. That's right, 1952. So 70 years ago. It's a 4-passenger plane, and it's known by this rounded tail here. Inside the cockpit, there's pretty basic controls. You've got a airspeed indicator here. This is our altimeter. That's how high we are. An RPM, oil pressure, pretty simple. You got a yoke. Gas gauges are up in the wings there, and 4 seats. In reality, it's really like 2 adults and 2 kids and not many bags and pretty lightweight. This is a single piston plane. It's powered by a single propeller here. Air comes in here. You've got an oil heater. All right, so this is the engine here. It's a six-cylinder, 145 horsepower engine. Really basic. I mean, you think what was around in 1952? You know, really basic. No electronics, really anything like that. You've got a radio, but 6 cylinders, oil. I got to check the oil right now before the flight. Wow, that's good. Looking good. Okay, so oil's good. Spark plug wires are all good. All right, so owning a plane in Alaska is kind of easier in the summer. In the winter, it is a pain in the butt. but we do it because we love it. You got to put covers over all the wings to cover for ice in the winter. You got to preheat the engine, do all this work. So here on the tires we have Alaskan bush wheels, and these tires are a lot bigger than you would see on a regular plane, and they allow us to land on river bars and gravel bars. Over here you can see here's another plane. It hasn't moved since the winter, but it has skis on it. This plane was this is called a Super Cub. It's a 2-passenger plane. It was flying around in the winter, landed on swamps and lakes and stuff on the snow. So we're based at maybe 150 feet above sea level. We'll take this up to maybe 6,000 feet at max. It's not made for super high altitude, so really we're pretty low. So like I said, I mean, as far as planes go, it's a very basic plane. Almost everything's manual. To retract the flaps, do it by hand. There's no electronics, which in some ways I love because it's more simple. You know exactly what's going on. If there's something wrong, I can fix it. These planes, even though it's built in 1952, every year we have to go through almost the entire thing to check for wear and replace parts. Even though it's 1952 and we're on the 3rd motor on this thing, this plane has about 2,000 hours of use. I put about 100 hours a year. If I'm lucky, more like 75 on average.
All right, it's 5:40. We made it to Homer. We are at the overlook. It's actually quite beautiful today, and we have a moment to show you. We are up at the top of the hill, and then you drop down into Homer. Always a good feeling to make it to Homer. The next question is about cost of living in Alaska. Are wages higher because the cost of living is so much higher? And the answer is yes, they typically are higher. You know, we have a lot of people in the oil industry, a lot of engineers, a lot of jobs that pay higher. But there are also just regular wage jobs, and people do their best to make things work. I know when we were first married, we had to be extremely frugal, and it took us a long time to start being able to put money away. Mark has a master's degree, so that has been helpful, him being able to work up the pay scale and ladder. Certain places in Alaska are more expensive than others. And wages do tend to be a little bit higher to cover those costs, but it still can be a big struggle.
Okay, good. Please tell Bennett that his bread making skills are envious.
You're good at making bread.
How is your garden doing? And do you get burned out on wild game and halibut just one? Do you know what that means?
Yep. So the garden is doing well. Lots of weeds, but I have been out there weeding. I think when we get back from the cabin this time, we will probably be able to harvest our first round of lettuce, but the lettuce just continues to grow. And no veggies yet, but I'm excited. Everything seems to be growing. The flowers are gorgeous. And do we ever get burnt out on game meat and halibut? No, I don't, because they're just so many things that you can do with the meat and fish. I feel like we do the same recipes all the time, and then every once in a while we'll try something new and we'll be like, oh my goodness, this is so great. Why have we never tried it this way? So we don't get sick of it because you can just cook it so many ways. Anywhere we need to go, we have 30 minutes. Way out onto the spit. It's packed down here for 4th of July. We were in too much of a rush to show you last time, but here's the boat harbor full of lots and lots of boats. Feels a lot less frantic unloading the car this time. Last time we just cut it way too close. This time we have a nice leisurely 30 minutes. And you know I brought the wagon again. All right, wagon to the rescue again. Well, I'm glad that we came early because I think I got one of the very last parking spots and I would have had to park far away. So Usually we show up right before and there's parking, but you know, it is a busy weekend. Look how busy it is this time. This whole back is full. Coolers and I don't know where our wagon ended up. Oh, up here. Well, this video got a lot longer than I expected, so we will be making a part 2 for you. We hope that you come back and spend a week with us at the cabin as we answer more questions about This Alaska Life. Thank you so much for being here. We are so grateful for each and every one of you, and we will see you again real soon.